On today's Saints Happy Hour podcast, me and Kevin are going to buy or sell the 2025 New Orleans Saints offense. That's right, it's stock market time. Thomas, hit that intro.
Welcome to Saints Happy Hour podcast, always with perfect pronunciation.
Same thing as Demario Thomas. I don't know. Demario Thomas is like...
It's a linebacker and a receiver, and he just mashed them up.
Anyway, Demario Davis, same thing.
Now grab a drink and enjoy the show.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Saints Happy Hour podcast. As always, we are brought to you by Hardhide Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey. If you're finding us on the YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and do a comment. It helps us out, and it doesn't cost you anything. All right, I got Thomas with me running the show back in Poland. I got Kevin, and, it's post-draft, so me and Kevin, we're kicking around the topics. We're like, hey, what are we going to talk about? And I said, you know what, Kevin? Let's do buy or sell the Saints, every position group. Let's do it buy or sell, Jim Cramer style. This week, we're doing the offense. We're going to go through every position group. We're going to say buy or sell. And then at the end of it, we're going to say, are you buying? Are you selling the Saints 2025 offense?
Yeah, I'm down with that. I'm almost like when you mentioned Jim Cramer, part of me is just like, it's not so much that I think of like, it's not that I picture Jim Cramer specifically. I more so picture Charlie Steiner from that ESPN Millennium ad where like, I wish I had a tie. I don't have many ties, but I wish I had one nearby because I would just wrap it around my head. Instead, it's just like I can just put this thing on. Yeah. And just like turn this off and then just be like, follow me to freedom.
That's right.
But alas, that's not what this is. But I can act ridiculous. I will act ridiculous on this. And listen, I would trust us talking about the Saints more than I would trust Jim Cramer talking about
stocks.
Anything,
That's right.
Really.
That's right.
Listen, like my go-to expression is I wouldn't trust him if he told me it was daylight out at high noon in July.
That's right.
I picked up another one in our Discord, which you can join as a member of the Saints Happy Hour Patreon. I picked up another slogan in there. I wouldn't trust him to tell me my name if I was wearing a name tag. So yeah.
I wouldn't trust him to tell me it was wet if he fell out of a boat in the lake. So listen, not to give little tips away, but the Saints offense is going to be a much smoother and funner ride, I think, in buy or sell than the defense. Yeah. And that's why we started here. So let's start where everybody starts, the Saints quarterback situation. It's dominated the news for about a month, ever since Derek Carr let it leak that he has injured shoulder. He might not play. Then he's given injury updates at the church.
Did he tell so who did he alert first? Did he alert the team first?
Or the
did he alert the Thessalonians first? Who did he talk to first? Who did he consult with?
I think he consulted with a higher power first. So
The Holy Spirit.
Listen, here's the thing. Here's the thing with the Saints quarterbacks. Do you buy their situation in a sense of, I guess, if you buy or sell it, I guess it depends on your expectations of what it's going to be. So where do you fall on quarterback? How are you feeling about it?
All right. So
what are the vibes?
Yeah, that's a good question. The vibes are bad. If this game is buy or sell, we're not doing this. We're not pussyfooting around and saying push. We're not saying, oh, I'm investing $0. It's buy or sell. It is pass or fail. You have to make a decision, one or the other. I am saying fail on this because look at the four guys we have here. We have Derek Carr, who may or may not have a catastrophic shoulder injury or may not need surgery. Doesn't seem like he even wants to be here. Wants to, basically has turned into a colossal. I'm trying to think of how to say, I'm trying to reduce my cussing.
Colossal
here.
bitch.
Okay, fine. You said it first. He's turned into a colossal bitch here. And, so you've got him.
Yeah.
Then you've got Jake Haener, who saw limited action last year. He was not good. We saw Spencer Rattler last year, who, listen, despite some of the folks in the Saints intelligentsia that want to tell you we can ignore everything that happened last year, we still have 2 eyeballs and a memory. He went 0-7 last year, and he had a few flashes of looking okay.
Yeah.
But overall, bad. Then you're bringing in Tyler Shuck, who is, who I think is older than Haener Rattler already, who should be receiving those, who should start receiving those AARP envelopes in his mail any day now. And, he's coming out of a weak quarterback draft class. He has, people are knocking him for his age, which, the age thing doesn't bother me so much as the injury history. That bothers me more. And it's like, I'm not feeling super inspired by Tyler Shough being on the team. Like, okay, they had to draft a quarterback, whatever. I'm just responding to what's in front of me. So, again, buy or sell, I'm selling.
Selling it, yeah. And listen, you got to. Here's my reason for selling. One, Spencer Rattler, his stats, his QBR was 40 last year. He got sacked 22 times in 7.5 starts. His sack percentage was 8.80. Not horrifically as bad as it was, because he did get better the last couple of starts. I'll give him that, and the sacks. But listen, he only completed 57% of his passes. This is the thing, though, with the Saints quarterbacks, and why to me, it's a sell, is because the Saints will 100% sell it if they are bad enough this coming year to draft another quarterback in the top 3, because next year's quarterback draft is potentially and widely thought of as being way better, and you could have 4 or 5 quarterbacks get drafted, and you're probably going to have 4 go in the top 10. So if the Saints finish 3-13, 4-12, and they're picking 3rd, and they got a chance to get Arch or Drew Allaire.
It would be pretty amazing if they could finish 3-13 or 4-12, considering they're going to be playing 17 games. But
well, 3-14. Okay, still, it's a 16-game schedule. It's still in my brain. It's branded in.
I know,
Kevin.
I know. You're in your late 40s, and you've been living your entire life one way. I get it.
But that's the thing. Like, the Saints are very, very open and likely to sell this entire quarterback room if they can do better in the draft next year. I don't think they are like Denver or even like the Giants this year, where they've like spent a 1st-round pick on these guys, McCarthy and Jackson Dart and these guys, and they're like, well, we spent a 1st-round pick on them. We can't draft 1st-round quarterback 2 out of 3 years. That's crazy. Like, the Saints are going to be like, oh, we can get Arch Manning, who was awesome at Texas, but you spent the 40th pick last year on a quarterback. They'd be like, we did? On who? For what? All we hear is Arch. He's calling our name. So, like, that's why I'm selling these quarterbacks.
Well, so here's the thing. I could see, I'll make part of the case for the other way. You could look at this and say, buy. Because look at how low this is. We've almost got nowhere to go but up. I mean, the Derek Carr thing will eventually get resolved. Jake Haener, probably not going to make the final cut. They're going to give Shough a chance to start. he'll probably be slotted. He's almost certainly going to be slotted ahead of Rattler. They'll at least compete in camp and preseason, I'm sure. One of them is going to start the bulk of the games. And then after the year, it's like you're buying at a low, at a real bad low, with the expectation that by the end of the season, you'll be in a better position, i.e., either the team will do better with Shuck leading the way, or you'll see enough that makes you confident.
There's no downside. You're saying there's no downside to buying.
There's little downside to buying.
No downside.
Now, if we're doing this whole like stock market thing, it's like, do you buy do you buy low on something that you know is going to either stay low, that's either going to stay low for like an entire year, or it's going to take a little while before you see any real gain, or do you kind of try and time it so you buy at the right time? That's it. That's what I'm selling. They could roll into next year with one of the top 4 picks in the draft and say, all right, we've cut Carr loose, Hayner's not around, and we are going to look at if a quarterback falls in our laps, we'll take one, and we'll go from there. Well, by that point, then you're buying.
Yeah, I just can't buy something that has the possibility of none of these quarterbacks being on the roster next year. And I know people say, oh, that's crazy, but new coaching staff, crazier things have happened. It'd have to go really, really wrong. Maybe it's like a 3% chance, but it is a chance, so I got to sell. So now, Thomas, we're going on to running backs. Now, this one, Kevin, is way more interesting because you have Kamara, you have Devin Neal, right? The new shiny toy that the Saints have gotten in the 6th round that everybody loves. He was rated way higher. My personal hobby horse, who I refuse to give up on, Kendra Miller. You've got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, local guy, LSU player. Velvis Jones Jr., not a DJ from WKRP in Cincinnati, not a character on Saturday Night Live. No, he is a running back that they have signed this year. He was a wide receiver. The Saints are moving him back to running back. And you still got Jordan Mims and Valladay, who is probably very, very unlikely to make the team. This group... And
Marcus Yarns from Delaware. He's not listed here.
Oh, who is that?
Marcus Yarns, the UDFA from Delaware.
His highlights are pretty good. This group, I'm buying it because I look at it this way. You got Kamara, who's always going to be healthy, so you can depend on him to stay pretty healthy, even though he's older.
Brother, I swear to God, if you just snake bit this guy by saying that, I'm coming through this screen later this fall.
I take it all back.
Don't just say, oh, he's always healthy. It's fine. It's fine. The guy was dealing with like a broken finger last year and all these other things, and he somehow kept playing. Don't just say he's fine. Don't say he's fine.
All right, he plays. No matter what happens to Alvin Kamara, it's a tough son of a bitch. He plays. Broken hand, broken arm, broken leg. He plays. Fair. That was wrong of me. It was wrong of me to say, Kevin. I apologize. I like this group. I think this group can be potentially very good and very fun. The problem with this group is if Kendra Miller doesn't play, it doesn't have any juice. It doesn't have any gas, as Billy would say. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, you're saying, well, if Kendra Miller doesn't play, and here I am.
Yes. I mean,
I'm making the Gene Wilder face like.
I have a feeling that like Kendra Miller.
Please tell me more.
He's not. He's either going to look amazing and come into camp and be in shape and look tremendous and like lock down the number 2 spot, or he's not making it to the first preseason game. They'll cut or trade him. Like I don't think there's any middle ground with Mr. Miller. He's either going to look amazing or he's going to keep being his terrible injured self. So
I'll bet on that more. I'll bet on that. Hey, listen. I am not interested. I am less interested in being right as I am in the team kicking ass.
That's right.
If Kendra Miller shows up to training camp and he is just, and he looks like he was carved out of wood, and he is blazing past people, and he looks great, and a preseason game happens, and he just absolutely has like two or three highlight runs, and looks tremendous. Great if he makes the team and has a couple of great plays this season. Great. I would love to be wrong on that account. I just don't think it's going to happen. So well, if it was buy or sell on one guy, I'd be selling everything I have on Kendra Miller and just moving on and eating whatever losses I might have had. You'd be eating a shit ton of losses, so you have no choice but to stay in. You're pot committed at this point. You're chasing after your losses, which I believe those gambling ads tell you not to. Don't chase your losses.
Don't throw bad money after good.
Right. I'm buying the running back group. Kamara is still, like, he's still doing it. Like, we kind of maybe not wrote him off completely last year, but just were like, what can we expect from this guy? And he had arguably the best season of his career. Now, that's not to say is he going to do exactly that again? Probably not. But he can still be very good, and he is still proven he deserves to be the number one guy on the depth chart, especially with this group. But most groups, he should be the number one guy. I like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I love having Devin Neal. Devin Neal, to me, was the steal of the Saints draft. He's going to end up being your number two.
Yeah.
And then you've got these three other guys fighting to be the number four. I'm comfortable with that group fighting for the number 4 spot.
Yeah.
Jordan Mims, Valladay, Velus Jones, like, that's fine by me. And then the Delaware kid.
If you got Kamara gives you 80% of what he gave you last year, and you got 650 yards and 6 touchdowns out of Devin Neal, you would have yourself a nice running back tandem. Forget my man Kendra Miller, Helaire, whoever. Like, you would have something. The problem for the Saints is the last 2 years, whenever Alvin Kamara didn't carry the ball, it was an abyss because Kendra Miller is always hurt. Anime guy who I'm blanking on his name.
Jamal Williams.
Jamal Williams, he was an abyss, right? Jordan Mims didn't give you anything. If you were almost better just kneeling the ball than handing off to whoever the Saints running back was. That's how bad it was. So if Devin Neal can just give him a little something like 500 to 700 yards, and you get normal Kamara, which he's given you the last couple of years, you got something at running back. I'm buying this group. I like it. I like it a lot. It may be, Kevin, I'm overdosing on my Kendra Miller full commitment, and the Devin Neal draft pick has clouded my judgment, and I'm a high. That could be the problem here, but I don't care. I'm buying.
Yeah, I feel comfortable with that. I think Kamara finished with nearly 1,500 total yards of offense, rushing and receiving. So if he does 80% of that, that'd be about 1,200 yards rushing and receiving. He finished with 8 touchdowns total. So you give him 80% of that.
6.
What is that? 8 times 0.8. So 6. So you give him, I mean, it's not exact math, but you give him 6 touchdowns, maybe 7. I would still take that gladly. especially for a guy with his age and you know the wear on the tires and all that. But if Devin Neal as the number 2 comes in and can have, like you described, I like where we're at, because then you've at least got, like, Devin Neal is the key. Either Devin Neal has to be that guy who's getting 500 and like 4 or 5 touchdowns as the number 2 guy, or it's got to be Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah,
I just think it's going to be more Devin Neal. Maybe Clyde Edwards-Helaire can be a guy who can catch some passes out of the backfield, or maybe do some like fancy schmancy kind of stuff.
He looked a little. I'll give Clyde Edwards-Helaire this. Listen, he was dealing with some personal stuff. He came back with the Saints. The last game of the year, super small sample, obviously. He gave him a little something. Like, it wasn't great, but it was way better than Jamal Williams had given him. I think the key for the Saints at running back is just, me and you, Kevin, we love the vibes. I think we need to have a vibe shift with the Saints at running back, where when Kamara doesn't carry the ball, it's been, oh God, Kamara's out the game. It's 3rd and 2. Why isn't Kamara in the game? They're going to try Jamal Williams. They're going to try whatever. And it's like, oh my God, something bad's going to happen. We need to shift from that vibe to, 2nd and 6, Devin Neal's in the game. What's happening here? Like, that's the vibe shift we need. We need to get excited about Devin Neal getting in the game. And the only way that can happen is he needs to do some stuff in the preseason, right? So that we need the vibe shift on that with the running backs. But still, I'm buying this group. I think it could be above average.
So I did the math here just on his 2 games with the Saints. If you gamed it out to 17 weeks, Clyde Edwards-Helaire would have had 110 carries for about 110 carries for about 391 yards. So you're looking at averaging 3.9 yards per carry. It's not bad.
It's not bad. You'd want.
I mean, he didn't score any rushing touchdowns, but he didn't. But it was, again, that's two games. That's all I'm doing, and I'm basing it off of that small sample size. But
if he's your 4th running back or your 3rd running back, if Kendrick.
Correct. That's the thing. If he's your 3rd guy doing that, I'm fine.
And if your 3rd guy's getting 100 carries, that's a good sign, because that means you're running the crap out of the ball, which helps your rookie quarterback. But you're buying the running backs.
I'm buying. All
right. Now we get to the offensive line. And this one, Kevin, to me is the trickiest one of them all, because I feel like whatever your opinion of the offensive line is, it sort of filters down to the whole offense, right? Because if you're like, I hate this offensive line, I don't think they're any good, I'm going to sell them. If you can't block, you can't do anything. We saw it last year, right? The first 2 weeks, offense averaging 40-plus points a game. Amazing. McCoy goes out first series against the Eagles, and it was never the same. It's like those 2 weeks didn't even happen.
Right. It's literally like, for some reason, Cesar Ruiz or Eric McCoy was the capstone on the whole thing. It's like he got pulled, and then that was it.
The thing with this offensive line, though, is I think they have enough bodies to cover up weak links. I think there potentially could only be one weak link in the thing, because you're going to have Fuaga, Ruiz, McCoy, and maybe you put Banks at guard or Penning, or if you put Banks at right tackle, you put Randunes at guard. That's a pretty good group. And then Trevor Penning, yes, you wouldn't want your swing tackle to be a guy you drafted in the top 20, And that's a horrible pick. But Trevor Penning as like your backup swing tackle, lots of NFL teams have worse. I would feel pretty good about that. Will Clapp, center/guard. He's played a ton of games at least. So you kind of go 7 deep where you feel okay about it. I think to me, though, I need to have Banks. They got to put him, like you drafted him 9, you got to put him at tackle. Whether you put Banks at left tackle and Fuaga back at right tackle, his natural spot. Like you got to have, like Banks, he's got to start out at tackle because this group of linemen they currently have, Penning and all, they haven't earned the right to like, where you're like, well, Penning is good. We'll slide in Banks at guard and he'll play a year and then Penning will leave. Like, no. You drafted that dude at 9. He's got to get a legitimate shot to play tackle to start. And if they do that, I feel really good about, or I feel decent about this group.
I remember the scouting report.
I like Ryan Ramczyk still being on the roster, by the way. You're in our hearts, Ryan. Keep going.
The draft profiles that I read in a couple of places mentioned him as a possible guard. And it's like, that was part of the, I think that's part of the reason that I liked the overall. That's why I like the overall pick, is because he could potentially be a guard. Like, I think, and look, I'm basing this off of like other people who, other things I'm reading and seeing. Like, I'm not the tape guy. I'm not that guy. He's definitely going to start. He has to start. If he doesn't start, then this pick seems like a waste. Yeah. So he's either starting at guard or he's starting at tackle. Obviously, I'm talking like I'm Madden here, like, oh, if the team that scores the most points is going to win and all that kind of stuff. But is it easier to keep is it easier to keep Fuaga at left tackle and Penning at right and start Banks at one of the guard spots, or do you put Banks at one of the at left tackle, move Fuaga over, kick Penning inside? It's like you're moving too many pieces at that point. Now, if the assessment is correct that Banks is probably better suited to be a guard at the next level, are you better off starting him at guard and seeing how he does, as opposed to trying him out at tackle?
Yeah.
And then if he's not doing as well as you want, do you risk messing with his confidence? Do you risk screwing up the confidence of somebody else that you've already, like, again, it's not like I totally what am I thinking of? The cohesion of the offensive line of that unit. I
wonder too, if you put him, if you have it and you have Fuaga, Ruiz, McCoy, Banks, Penning, like Penning and Banks next to each other, that's a rookie and a guy who has yet for it to like all come together.
Right.
You want that as like one side of your line. It's interesting to me. The thing with Penning is he's a Raz god, and Zach Strief has told Andrew this and me this. He said with offensive line, sometimes it never comes together, and like the light just never comes on. And other times it comes on in like year 3, year 4, and once it's on, it's good and you're locked in. And that's the thing with Penning. Like, the funniest outcome here, Kevin, is the Saints play Banks at guard. They keep Penning at right tackle, and Penning is amazing at right tackle, and they didn't pick up his option, and he goes into free agency, and he gets 4 years, $85 million. That would be the most Saintsy thing that ever Saints, probably.
Here's the thing about that. If he kicks ass at tackle this year, great. The Saints at least got that from him on that first contract. And you would presume then that Banks fits in at guard and looks good, in which case you made a good draft pick. You've got a guy, you have a guard now. You have your guard for the next 5 years, and then you figure out whatever you're going to do with Fuaga, whether you're going to keep him at left or move him to right. And then that means next year's draft, you're going to have to take a tackle. You're going to have to get a tackle at one of those high picks, probably the second round, presumably. Obviously we're now getting into draft theory. I hate doing that shit right now, but one of your high picks is going to have to be tackle again. You're going to have to go offensive line
or guard if you're like, hey, Banks is ready, we're kicking him out to right tackle, or you're switching him around. You're still going to need another lineman. If Penning plays this year and plays well, next year you're going to need a lineman. You're going to need a lineman first or second pick somewhere.
Yeah.
But that said, I'm buying this unit because, again, the health last year was dreadful.
Yeah.
McCoy got hurt. I know Fuaga and Penning played through, but guard, they were injured, rotating them in and out. They were down. They were playing at one point. They were playing the fourth center. It was a disaster. I think it's going to be healthy. I think it's going to be better. And I think this is the entire key to, for me, the watchability of the 2025 Saints. Because you're going to have a rookie quarterback. He's going to take lumps. We'll get to the other positions on the offense here in a second. But if the offensive line isn't good, this offense could be unwatchable and a disaster and like a bottom 5 offense. But if it's good and you get good health, and you've got a good offensive line, maybe you can run play action with your young quarterback, protect him a little bit, do some fun stuff with Devin Neal as your Taysom Wildcat quarterback. And you can do some fun stuff, and maybe this offense can be middle of the pack. But it all starts here with the offensive line. And because I'm still having the fumes of optimism from the draft, Kevin, I'm buying the offensive line.
Yeah, I feel, yeah. I think this is when I was talking about with the quarterback position, it's like, why would you buy low on something that you're still going to have to wait a while for it to go up? I think this is the opportune time to buy low now. Because we're already putting what should be a new starter into the line. Everybody should be coming back healthy. And now Penning now has the fire under his ass. So either he's going to be amazing, and that's, again, good problem to have, or he's going to just sort of middle through, and then we'll know we made the right call anyway. I'm okay with this.
Now, here's the thing with this next group. Tight end. I'm just going to put it like this. If you still have any stock of the Saints tight end, I don't think you can sell it, but you might be able to trade it for like some used wood, maybe a open can of oil, maybe a half-eaten Hubix pie,
some guac,
some guac. Like the tight ends for the Saints, Kevin, are.
It's bad. It's not good, Bob.
It's not good. It's not even okay. It's not even okay. It's not even okay. Because here's the thing. If Foster Moreau, who had a horrifically bad injury, if he's not ready to go, you do, because you don't have him and you don't have Taysom. Remember, Taysom had a horrifically injury too. And people forget this about Taysom. Taysom is an okay blocker at tight end. If you don't have Moreau and you don't have Taysom Hill, you don't have a dude on this roster at tight end who can block competently. Right? And that's not even getting into, should you have given Juwan Johnson $30 million because he's just a guy and he had his career year and it was barely above 500 yards receiving. Like, why did you feel the need to pay him all that money? Like, this group is so bad. That's why the guy they drafted, I'm going to butcher his name, Mataveo. Say whatever you want about him. Like, if he proves competent or if he proves to be an above average blocker and knows the playbook, he has a really, really good shot to make this team.
As in lock that shit, as in you can lock that in? Yeah, absolutely. If he comes in knowing the playbook and he can block, put him on the team. I don't care if he comes in and barely catches any passes. Hang on, I want to see his. Let me pull up his college football. He had 41 catches last year for 500 yards and
He's
2
gigantic,
touchdowns.
by the way, he's like
brother,
6'6".
Brother, you give me 40 catches and 500 yards as a rookie tight end, and you can block. Give it to me. Give it to me right
Kevin,
now.
Give me,
because we're dealing with. Listen, if Foster Moreau still looks injured, I mean, if he's still. I hate saying this, but it's like he's looking like he's got to go. I mean, granted, look, we're looking at like 3-4 camp bodies here with Michael Jacobson, who I love just because he's really tall, despite that haircut. Jack Stoll. Now, there's a name. That's a name. That's a guy you buy as either a tight end or a linebacker, somebody who's going to come in, catch a ball, run somebody over, change your oil, and then, take the old lady out for a nice steak dinner. And then Trayton Welch. Like, those guys are probably not making it unless, for whatever reason, Foster Moreau and Taysom are both looking like shit. And then my guy Dallin Holker. Like, things ain't looking peachy for him either.
No, I would say this.
This tight end group is the vibes are bad. The vibes are bad. We are literally sitting here hoping that the rookie that they that the rookie that they signed, the rookie that they picked up in the 7th round of the draft can make the team if he can block.
That's right.
That's how bad this tight end group
I'm not
is.
even
That's how bad this looks.
Kevin, 40 catches for him is a pipe dream. If he makes the team and plays 50% of the snaps and catches 10 passes, that is a home run of a 7th round pick. And that will at least give the Saints something functional at tight end, which right now, I don't know that they have, because Juwan Johnson isn't really a tight end because his blocking, while better than it has been when they first moved him to the tight end, it's still not near good enough. So Stahl, all these guys, Holker, if they can just block and know the playbook, like there's a path to making this team. Tight ends, not only do I have to sell it, I want to stop thinking about it because it makes me sad.
Yeah, I wish I had. Man, where the hell is this PFF grade thing? Like, I thought they had a block number on this guy. And yeah, we don't. And it's kind of annoying that I don't see it. Yeah, his overall grade, I think him a 60. Somebody give me a block grade. Somebody, either in the comments on YouTube, in the Discord, on Twitter, somebody tell me where I can find a block number for Juwan Johnson. Because the impression is that he sucks at blocking.
You can't
Is that he's such a
find
blocker.
that which
That's why I
doesn't
was-
exist.
That's why I got sold on Ty Warren if he was there at 9 instead of trading down. That's why I got sold on him. That's why I got sold on Mason Taylor from LSU. That's why I got sold on Arroyo from Miami. That's why I got sold on a lot of guys at tight end is, can they block? Tremendous. Bring them on. If as long as they're not stone hands or butterfingers, great. We'll figure out how to get them the ball to catch so it makes them so they're actually it's more value for them taking up a spot on the team. But can they block and be competent and know the playbook? Great, bring them on. If this cat from UCLA does that, I'm excited. I'm excited. Great head of hair on him too.
Yes.
Great head of hair.
Tight end is something that if you don't have it and you have other things like a good offensive line and good running back, like the Saints, it's not a death blow. It's not a death blow that sentences them to being a bottom 3 offense if tight end is as big a disaster as it looks right now. But it definitely limits their ceiling if everything else is like going really well. Like to not have anything at tight end and not even the guys that can block, it really limits you formation wise. That's why I think that's the number one thing for the Saints. They just want a tight end that they can put out there that can block, that they can feel decent about. But this group is sad, and I like. It's just one of those things, Kevin. You said it over and over again. They need more picks because they have so many goddamn holes. And even though we liked the draft and they had 9 picks, if they'd have traded down and gotten another 2nd round pick, another 3rd round pick, and you'd have got it, thrown if you had a nice shiny 3rd round rookie tight end in here, no matter who it was, we'd feel much better about this group, but we don't. So I'm selling it. Not only am I selling it, I'm giving this group away. If somebody wants to just come and take it like an old beat up couch in front of my house, you can take the Saints tight end group, take it away, and do with it what you want.
Oh, it's even better. This is the old record player that doesn't work anymore, and you put the little tag on it. Broken, but maybe fun to fix.
That's right.
So there you go. There you go, Coach Kellen. Have fun fixing this.
Well, speaking of broken, that's a great segue to the Saints wide receiver group, Kevin.
Jesus.
Because the Saints wide receiver group currently, I wouldn't classify it as broken, could be fun to fix. I would classify it as broken, can be fun if healthy. This group is potentially, in my mind, very, very fun. But it's a lot of ifs, right? If Olave, his new body, he looks buff, looks great. Chris Olave family, if you're finding this podcast, you look great. We hope you do well. The thing about Olave is there's only question on him is health. When he is playing,
the only question on him is if he gets tackled during a game, is he gonna, make the fencing motion and have to be taken out?
That's right. The thing is with Chris Olave, the Saints, and I'm being dead serious, they need to call up Ted Ginn, and they need to send Chris Olave to the Ted Ginn School of for who, for what. People used to make fun of Ted Ginn all the time because that dude would catch a 25-yard pass, and instead of cutting back in and getting tackled, he would just coast out of bounds and be like, let's run another play. Like Ted Ginn was not about getting tackled, fighting for extra yards. He wasn't about that. But you know what he did do? He played over a decade in the NFL. And that's what Olave needs. But think about Olave. When he plays, he's really good. He's probably a top 12-ish wide receiver. So you got him. Shaheed, super fun when he's healthy. Returns punts. Returned to, 2 years ago, had a punt return from Green Bay. Was looking freaking amazing the first 2 weeks for the Saints. He got injured. The thing I worry about him, Kevin, though, is like his whole game is I just run by you. And he had a knee injury. So if that doesn't come all the way back, I wonder if I worry that he'll fall off a cliff. And you might have forgotten, Brandon Cooks for the Saints is back. Brandon Cooks, who was passed around like everybody's favorite bong from team to team, from the Saints to New England, from New England to the Rams, from the Rams to the Texans,
the Cooks.
from the Texans to the Cowboys. But he's old. And you got Bub Memes, who I was really sad that got injured last year because he was starting to show a little something when Spencer Rattler got to start. He got injured and never got to play. I would have liked to see him the last month. But this group, Kevin, I'm buying it and I'm making an investment in them. But this investment scares me to death. I probably should know better.
Yeah, you should, Ralph.
Anyway. But I'm doing it anyway.
If that ain't a Ralph lesson right there. I should know better, but I'm going to do it anyway. I looked up the receiving stats from 2024 just in the NFC. Just in the NFC. And actually, that's not even germane to this. Because really, Ralph, who was the Saints' leading receiver in 2024?
Okay, so we can't do tight ends, obviously. Is it?
Yeah, you can.
I mean, it's got to be Juwan Johnson, right?
You would be correct. Juwan Johnson, 548 receiving yards. Now, guess who the second leading receiver on the 2024 Saints was?
Oh, that's got to be found him in a trash can, and he had an awesome month. Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
You would be incorrect. The correct answer is Alvin Kamara.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about it. Oh.
Your third leading receiver.
I'm going to just blame something on DA just because.
Your third leading receiver, Foster Moreau. 413 yards receiving.
That is
Chris
sad.
Olave, it was your fourth best receiver. He only played half the games, and he got 400 yards receiving.
That is some sadness.
That's terrible. That's terrible. And then after him is Rashid. So you've got your number one and your number two, who really should be a number three. Your number one and your number two were hobbled by injuries. Everything that they couldn't put enough together for a full campaign due to injuries, either Rashid's leg or Chris Olave's head. Please, for the love of God, wear the special helmet during the game. Wear the special helmet during the game. Somebody needs to sit him down and tell him, we're saving you from yourself. If you're insisting on playing, wear the goddamn special helmet. I don't care what anybody says. Wear the helmet. So we are dependent on, like a small him being able to. I don't care. Call him whatever you want. If he's wearing the helmet and catching passes and making touchdowns, do a touchdown dance, make a special dance. I don't care. I don't care.
Yes, it's happening.
Cool, Chris. Make it cool.
Wear the helmet, make it cool, be successful, and keep playing. Keep playing. So we're dependent on him, on his head holding up. We're dependent on Rashid's leg holding up. We're dependent on Brandon Cooks, who we brought in, him holding up. And then after that, it's seemingly the gang who can't shoot straight.
Bub Memes, Dante Pettis.
I mean, like,
Mason
take your pick. Yeah, I mean, this is all like the guys in the Dirty Dozen who weren't named Charles Bronson or the guy who directed those other westerns. John it's those guys who weren't Charles Bronson, John Cassavetes, Tully Savalas, or Jim Brown. It's like, who are these other guys? Nobody, granted, I'm not from the 60s or whatever the hell it is, but it's like, who are those guys again? Oh, they were basically cannon fodder.
That's right.
Like, these guys are out here just to show up and catch a couple of balls, and that's it. And oh yeah, by the way, some of them are under 6 feet tall. Brandon Cooks is famously under 6 feet tall, and then it's like 6 feet and below. Like Cedric Wilson is 6'2", and Bub Means is 6'2", but where is it? Yeah. Where is it? Show me something. So show me. I'm in Missouri. I'm living in Missouri. Show me something.
Are you selling the ride?
I'm selling this.
All right.
I'm selling this because I see bad. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah.
Again, prove me wrong though.
Yeah,
prove me wrong. I got no issue being wrong.
If Kellen Moore can get this offense in the top 20, we will have something really good at coach. Possibly something very special for the Saints at head coach. If he can get this offense in the top 20, if he can get this offense top half of the league, he's a goddamn genius. I'll just say it. So overall, the thing is, the Saints offense is, I think, potentially very interesting and very fun to watch because I think the offensive line will be good. I think Kellen Moore is going to get some very fun and interesting things out of Shuck and potentially the wide receivers if they're healthy. It'll be a fun watch, I think, for Saints fans, but I can't in good conscience recommend you buy it. I'm going to watch it. I think it's going to be fun. I think Shuck's going to have some really high highs and some very low lows, and it's going to be some interesting, cool stuff. But I can't in good conscience recommend you buy the Saints offense. I just can't.
Yeah, same. 2024, I think they were ranked 23rd in passing and like 14th in rushing. I can't find the overall, like an overall, combined type thing here.
Mm-hmm.
So if they improve the rushing and the passing, just a smidge, like we're asking you to go from 23rd in passing to 19 or better.
Mm-hmm.
If you can do that with a rookie quarterback, the vibes will be off the charts because then it'll just feel like sky's the limit.
Yeah. Well, you just want it to be like, to me, for the Saints offense, you just want it to be fun in a sense of you want kind of, are we going to get good Tyler Shuck today? Or are we going to get rookie Tyler Shuck today? Like, that's kind of like the vibe that I'm hoping for, where like, you'll have a game where you're like, oh man, Tyler Shuck, he went to Atlanta and he was 24 of 32 for 310 yards. He threw 2 touchdowns and ran for another, no turnovers. It was amazing. And then the next week you're like, and then he played the Titans and was 15 of 33 for 2 interceptions and a fumble and looked like ass. Like, and I think that's what you want. You want it to be a mixed bag. What you don't want it to be is what, unfortunately, people are going to see this and get mad at me, but I don't care. What you don't want is it to be what Rattler was, where, yes, he gives you flashes, but he gave me a good quarter and a half. He gave you a good fourth quarter. But he never strings together a good game. Like, that's what you don't want. But in good conscience, I can't buy it. I want, Kevin, I want to buy it. I want to buy you, Saints. I do. But at this time, I can't recommend people invest money in you.
My heart has been hurt too much. I can't invest just yet.
Maybe. Hey, all it takes is 2 good preseason series from Shuck in the first.
It won't take that much for you. If somebody if you hear from Underhill that oh man, the training camp, the rookie training camp went pretty well, you're going to be like, they're going to go 10-7, guys. I feel it in my bones.
That's right.
That's what you're going to be shouting.
You know me like the back of your hand. So anybody, thanks for joining us. go to patreon.com/Saints Happy Hour. Check us out, become a patron, get access to our Discord, all the cool stuff we do. It's amazing. You should do it. Thanks to Kevin for hanging out with me. Thanks for Thomas hanging out with us, running the show, back in Poland, best producer on earth. And guys, until next time, the bar is closed.